Welcome to another installment in my complete chronological rewatch, where I'll be going back through almost every Star Wars film and show as I work my way to the Rise of Skywalker. I've already gone through some of the movies, so be sure to check those out for yourself after this. Today we're going over the Clone Wars Season 2, Episode 4, Senate Spy. Set in 21 BBY, at the Jedi High Council's request, Padmé investigates a Separatist conspiracy in the Senate. Despite only being the average 20 minutes long, watching this somehow felt like two completely different episodes because of the quality. It's been a while since I've seen this episode, so I was worried after the first 5 minutes or so that the entire episode was going to be as rough of a watch as the beginning was. This is a very political and romantic heavy episode, and it doesn't land all the time. The episode starts off with an extended look at the marriage between Anakin and Padmé, and whereas we normally only see a brief comment or passing emotion from them while they're in public, this gives us a look at a more open interaction between the two lovers. And while it's good to get this different side to the characters, it was all a bit much for me, especially when it is so different from nearly every other episode in the series. So far in my rewatch, it's pretty much just been a lot of battles and missions focused on the actual war efforts, not as much focused on the Senate on Coruscant. A lot of the lovey-dovey dialogue is also rough to listen to. It's not as common throughout the second half of the episode, hence the reason I found it to be infinitely more enjoyable to watch, but it is one of the main problems I had watching this episode. The plot of this episode launches from the Jedi Council's concern about Rush Clovis, a senator from Scipio, being a Separatist spy, and I found this to be a very political matter for the Jedi to be concerned with, showing how entangled they have become in the Senate's dealings. Who knows how they came across these suspicions, but normally this would be a matter that is dealt with internally by the Chancellor and probably the Senate guards, not the Jedi. Anakin also gets some looks from Obi-Wan and Yoda after making some remarks about Padmé, and I am curious to know why neither really went out of their way to talk to Anakin about his relationship with Padmé when it was so obvious that he had feelings for her, and that these emotions clouded his judgment, even if they didn't suspect that he went as far to marry a Republic senator. Anakin then goes to convince Padmé to spy on Clovis on behalf of the Council, and it is sort of amusing that in trying to ensure that she doesn't take the mission, he accidentally leads her the other way and makes her want to find answers. Padmé being bitter about him leaving the night before for Jedi business also felt a little childish, given that she's always the more mature one saying that duty comes first over feelings. There's also a lot of bickering between the two of them while in the Senate pod, and while I feel it does show a different side to them, it also got annoying after a bit. The episode then goes to Padmé and Clovis over dinner. Padmé is obviously putting up an act to make Clovis feel comfortable and trusting, and the very close shots on their face definitely succeed in making the scene uncomfortable for the viewers. I also found it funny how some fans are so quick to complain about the new Star Wars being political, when we literally have countless episodes like this in the Clone Wars that focuses on senators and complicated politics. And then once everyone boards the shuttle is probably the worst part of the episode in my opinion. I know it was probably all done to get a few comedic moments for a younger audience at the time, but all these years later, it's just a scene that doesn't help much with anything. Anakin is very jealous, to the point where he makes a fool of himself, breaking the seat and flying like a maniac to keep Clovis off of Padmé. And then there's just a lot of awkward flirting between Padmé and Clovis to go along with Anakin's brash actions. However, once we get to Cato Nemoidia and the more espionage side of the episode, I was surprised at how enjoyable the episode became. I was expecting to be severely uncomfortable watching the rest of the episode, but I found myself engrossed and not even really picking apart the episode, just watching it for what it was. We get to see a bit of the nicer side of the planet, and get confirmation that Clovis is indeed working with the Separatists on behalf of the banking clan to fund more droid factories. Although there were some rough parts here or there that were still rough to watch, everything with the Separatist leaders, Padmé's investigation and the deception to get the data card, it did more than enough to make up for the difficult first part of the episode. Let me know what you think of this episode in the comments below, and where it ranks among your favorite episodes. Remember to like the video, and subscribe to stay up to date with my chronological rewatch. As always, thank you all for watching, and remember, the Force will be with you. Always.